Hey everyone, we are Leen and Wim, a couple from Belgium. We have set out on an epic cycling journey from Belgium all the way down to the southern tip of Spain, over 2,750 kilometers in 32 days. Join us in our video diary as we ride through stunning landscapes, tackle challenges and experience all the surprises along the way. Subscribe and hop on for the ride of a lifetime.
Schatje, je ziet er nog zo mooi uit, jongske.
Oh, ligt in de stok in mijn rug prikt. Dat is maar een plat matje. Oh my. Op een sigarettenvloeitje slapen, dat is niet ideaal.
Last night, as Wim inflated his sleeping mat, a suspiciously large bulge appeared where it definitely shouldn't be. It didn't take long for him to notice that the mat was slowly losing air. Armed with a bottle of water and some soap, he searched for the leak in the darkness. Ironically, Wim had tested both our mats for leaks just before we left, and everything seemed fine. But yesterday, he discovered that an entire seam was compromised, a repair job far beyond the capabilities of any patch. Fortunately, the village of Saint-Quentin has a sporting goods store, and we figured it might be our best chance to replace the mat. So we decided to reroute our journey, despite the detour adding extra kilometers to an already ambitious itinerary. From our bivouac spot, it was a 50-kilometer ride to the store. To save time, I let Komoot plan a gravel route for us, fully automated. With unwavering trust in the app, we loaded the route onto our bike computers and followed its guidance like obedient adventurers.
Toen ik thuis de route naar Tarifa aan het uitstippelen was, ben ik daar letterlijk maanden mee bezig geweest. Ik denk dat ik elk bochtje, elke kruising wel van tevoren op mijn computerscherm gezien heb. Maar die ochtend hadden we natuurlijk niet zoveel tijd om de route aan te passen. Dus lieten we het Komoot volledig zelf doen. En ik moet toegeven, mijn verwachtingen waren behoorlijk laag gespannen. En toch bleek de route echt prachtig te zijn. En nee, wij worden niet gesponsord door Komoot of door eender welk ander merk. Maar als er één ding is dat ik kan aanbevelen aan mensen die net als wij van lange fietsroutes houden, is het toch echt wel Komoot.
Komoot didn't disappoint. Its route rewarded us with unexpectedly beautiful views. However, the terrain wasn't always cooperative. Some paths were littered with sharp, uneven rocks that sent our front wheels bouncing unpredictably. We quickly learned that saddle soreness isn't the only discomfort cyclists face. Our hands and arms bore the brunt of the rough ride, serving as makeshift shock absorbers.
Hoewel dat we echt wel aan het genieten waren van de mooie natuur waar we doorfietsten. Ik zat toch met dat kapotte slaapmatje in mijn achterhoofd. Ja, wat als we in het volgende dorp geen nieuw matje kunnen vinden? Ik zou het niet erg vinden om nog 1 nacht op een bed van 9 blokjes te slapen, maar ja, geen 30.
Before reaching Saint-Quentin, we paused for lunch beneath a cluster of wind turbines, enjoying a panoramic view of the valley. The clouds parted briefly, allowing the sun to shine through and make our break all the more enjoyable. Once in Saint-Quentin, Wim went straight to the sporting goods store located in the shopping center. While he searched for a replacement, I stayed behind to guard the bikes. We never leave them unattended. We've heard too many horror stories from fellow travelers about stolen bikes. A deflated sleeping mat is manageable, but a stolen bike would be a catastrophe. Yeah. After about 30 minutes of bike duty, Wim emerged triumphantly, holding up a bright orange bag. Mission accomplished. The shopping center also housed a hypermarket, where I wandered around slightly overwhelmed by its sheer size. After managing to gather some groceries, we set off again, following a charming canal, the Canal de Saint-Quentin. Cycling along canals is usually a pleasant experience, minimal elevation and steady progress. As we prepare to leave the canal behind, we pause for a short snack break. I also took a brief pit stop in the bushes, only to be spotted by a passing jogger. She politely looked away, but I couldn't have cared less. One of the liberating aspects of long journeys like this is how quickly you shed any sense of shame. Appearance, sweat, stray hairs, or even being caught doing something as natural as relieving yourself. It all fades into irrelevance. On trips like these, I feel more like myself than ever before. Stripped of societal expectations and pretense, I am free to embrace my imperfections. And in a way, I am proud of them, of my unkempt hair, my sun-kissed skin, and the effort it takes to keep moving forward. We're on the lookout for a place to camp and eventually stumble upon an overgrown field. Tucked at the back, under the dappled shade of a few stately trees, we find the perfect spot to settle for the night. It's quiet, secluded, and just what we need after a long day of riding. As Wim unloads his bike, he notices a bolt missing from his rear rack, likely lost on the bumpy trails. Despite his well-stocked repair kit, he lacks the right size to replace it. So he improvises and makes a temporary fix, planning to find a replacement tomorrow. While Wim inflates our sleeping mats, I start preparing dinner with the fresh ingredients I picked up earlier at the hypermarket. Cooking outdoors, surrounded by nature, is easily one of my favorite moments of the day. There's a sense of calm and simplicity to it that's hard to replicate elsewhere. I begin by finely chopping garlic, onions, carrots, peppers and romaine lettuce. The colors are vibrant, the smells tantalizing as I cook everything together with some chicken and spices over our little gas stove. Once everything is perfectly cooked, I spoon the filling neatly onto wraps, adding a drizzle of sauce to finish. It truly is delicious, exactly what we need to refuel. As we sit down to eat, we notice some unexpected guests. A few curious cows from a neighboring field have caught wind of something. Or perhaps it's just the smell of dinner. With their noses high up in the air, they amble over to the fence, sniffing around to see who their new neighbors are.
Komen jullie ons morgen vroeg melk brengen voor in onze koffie? Dankjewel.